What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Spurs have got back-to-back wins for the first time in I don't know how long. We have won at Villa Park. Incredible result. Tottenham now sit outside the relegation zone at the end of this weekend, which is absolutely phenomenal. Just a few weeks ago, we looked at lost cause. There was no saving us. But all of a sudden, Deserby has turned this ship around, and Tottenham have gone to Villa Park and taken all 3 points, taking full advantage of West Ham's defeat. I'm here with Harry. Before we get into the instant match reaction, I just want to shout out our sponsors, OK Jersey. They are the sponsors of this stream. Big up to them. They are the home for all your replica shirt needs. They have shirts for replica shirts for every single team at the World Cup. All 48 teams, whatever team you are looking a shirt for, they have you covered on okjersey.com. If you use our code WRTTV, you get 8% off all your replica kits that you could ask for. As many as you want, you can get 8% off if you use our code WRTTV. They have any replica shirt you want. All the replica shirts across the Premier League, all the big 5 leagues. They even have custom-made shirts if you email them directly. But if you go to okjersey.com, you use our code WRTTV to get 8% off. Big up and show some love to OK Jersey and get your replica shirts today. Now, let's get into the instant match reaction in what was a fantastic day for Tottenham. And I think it's the first weekend you really felt the pendulum swing in our favour, potentially, in the relegation fight. Off the back of West Ham getting absolutely slapped 3-0 by Brentford yesterday, everyone knew it was a massive opportunity today for Tottenham to climb outside the relegation zone and really take initiative and be proactive in this relegation fight. We got our first win of 2026 last week against Wolves. Zerbi has been banging on about we need our first win. Once we get that first win, the floodgates are going to open, the confidence is going to flow through this team, the pressure will be lifted a bit. And even though that win last week came at a cost, losing Xavi, losing Solanke, and we got to go to Villa Park, a team sitting in 4th place in the league. We did not let that affect us. Villa rested players today. They had one eye on that game on Thursday in the Europa League in the semi-final. And Spurs took full advantage today. An absolute dominant display. A game of football I think we haven't dominated like that probably all season. The most dominant one we've had. It was an exceptional display, full of confidence, full of composure, and most importantly, with lots and lots of quality as well, especially in the first half in the attacking areas. We were able to hurt Aston Villa, create chances, took a 2-goal lead, and ultimately that was good enough to get the victory. Harry, what are your immediate emotions after that victory?
Completely agree with you. By the way, let me just start by saying that. Honestly, really, really proud. And what a huge weekend. We had West Ham and there was worries, could they get anything from that Brentford game? Because Brentford hadn't won in a few games and Brentford done us a massive favour. Then, in our own hands, we took advantage. And to be outside the relegation zone, by the end of the weekend, don't get it wrong, against Wolves last weekend, there was about, 3 or 4 minutes, if that we were outside. But to end the weekend, going into Bank Holiday Monday outside the relegation zone, just huge for confidence. And we deserved it as well. Scoreline didn't flatter us. I thought we should have won by more. So honestly, so proud, and have been able to say this much this year of the players, of the team, of the manager. The fans have been proud of all year. I think they've been excellent. But generally as the club, I mean, so happy sitting here talking to you after a win. It feels good. Back-to-back wins as well. And like I said to you earlier, you just need to work on that home form from now to the end of the year. And just so impressed because don't get it wrong, the result's all that matters, but the performance is so encouraging as well, because I believe we play that game now again and we could do the same. It's the energy levels as well, from minute 1 to minute 90, non-stop press, non-stop aggression. Every single person on that pitch really impressed me. Even the substitutes as well had players out of position. Bergvall left wing in the end, Spence at right wing, still super impressive. So proud, honestly, doesn't go far enough of these players. More of that.
Yeah, and you can really see what Deserby is starting to implement with this team, the way that he's got them playing with those quick interchanges with teammates. You can see the players are starting to understand where they need to be standing to receive the ball, and where they need to be where they need to play the ball when the ball gets played to them. You can see it's almost becoming at times like second nature, where the way they're connecting, the way they're playing the ball in behind, the way they're making Villa move around the pitch into areas they don't want to be in, and asking questions they don't want to answer, essentially. And Aston Villa, you have to say, Aston Villa were nowhere near their best today. I mean, they made lots of changes. Clearly, they were not, their focus wasn't on today, and it showed that on the pitch. It wasn't so much even the kind of team they selected, it was more how they played.
Yeah.
They never got out of first gear. They were sluggish. They didn't seem too bothered about the game, to be honest. You had the Villa fans getting very, very frustrated. And you also had a Tottenham side motivated by the fact that we could get out of the relegation zone, and we kind of didn't want to let that opportunity pass us by. Like, we didn't want to come away with today with just a point and still sitting out inside the relegation zone come the end of the game. It was like we smelt an opportunity, we smelt a bit of blood, and there was like the sharks were in the water and they were circling around this Villa team, and we absolutely went for the kill in that first half, and we got that 2-goal lead we deserved. Brilliant goal by Conor Gallagher after 10 minutes. Brilliant shot from him from 25 yards. Daisy cutter. First goal for Tottenham, by the way, and something we just haven't seen from him anywhere near enough in a Tottenham shirt. And really great for him to finally get his first goal, have that little bit of quality. And you look, he ran his socks off the whole game. But that goal, in a weird way, that's how it started the day for him. But it's kind of encapsulated what was a brilliant day for Gallagher, I felt.
100%. And you're absolutely right to say that Villa weren't at it. But I think take nothing away from Tottenham. Deserby in particular deserves so much credit. In a short period of time, what he's got out these players. And it's just, giving 110%. And never this season, I can't think anyway, and I apologise if I'm wrong about this, can I remember going into stoppage time and the likes of Gallagher, any player, chasing down the ball, working so hard. And we saw Porro celebrate when he won the ball back. Paulinho wins it back, then wins a foul, celebrates. I just felt like the team were together. And you're right, 1-2 touch football was superb in this game. I mean, I would say, where's this been? But this is where it really matters. It's a crunch point. It's do or die for Tottenham. We showed up and we're now in the driving seat. And there was one point, a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, I will say, where I thought it's nearly over. I feel like we know what's going to happen. We're going down. I'll be honest about that. But I see today and I think, do you know what? It just gives me so much confidence. And I would say this is a statement performance. It's a statement win. I think even the likes of Nottingham Forest will be looking at the games they have coming up because they're tough. Let's be clear about that. And they'll be worried. And they should be as well. And I hope that they are. And I'm really proud of the team. And I can't stress that enough because I haven't been able to say that a lot this year. I have been very quick to criticise people when necessary. And these players, I think, deserve praise when they do well. And today they've done very well. And passion was there. The energy was there. And again, I repeat, the scoreline didn't flatter us. We were excellent. Brave, took shots outside the box, dominated the majority of the game. Really strong start, and we did keep it going. Not as many clear-cut chances in the second half, but it doesn't matter. Had control of the game. And I think even if Villa had bought on their firepower, I still would have backed us to get the result. We deserved a clean sheet. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
Shame we didn't get that. I think the game was played on too much, but I'm not going to look into stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, so happy to get that win back to back. And I think a goal makes a big difference. You got that goal against Wolves, and then you get that win. Huge. Carried on to this game. We played with real confidence. I think we saw the Villa team. That gave us confidence, resting players. We saw West Ham's result yesterday. It was key they played first. They lost 3-0. That gave us confidence. All these things mounted into a 5-star performance. We'll go higher than that if it was possible. And the win, which is even more important. Huge.
Yeah, it just felt like there's finally a pendulum swinging in our favour. Even last week when we got that win against Wolves, it felt like the pendulum swung against us even in the event of a win, having those injuries and having West Ham get that last-minute winner. But people underestimate the power of a win and how much a win. No, people can. I'm saying people can underestimate how much a win is in the circumstance we were in to not won in 2026. How much they can change your fortunes and how much confidence can give you, even in circumstances that are going against you with the injuries that we're getting, with the form that our rivals have been in. But the win that we got is that getting that monkey off your back, just relieving that pressure. Was clearly massive because they came out flying today, absolutely flying, and really took the game to Aston Villa. Villa didn't know what hit them in that first half. We were so dominant. The way we controlled the game, the way we were just passing it around them, passing in between the lines, Villa just had no answer to what we were asking. Understand, Villa, rested players and they were not on their game. Their pressing was way off it. They were chasing shadows for all that first half, we're being honest. And I think, but just the way, that if we were played in a different way, if we were playing like we were under Thomas Frank early in the season, doesn't matter what Villa team they would have had out there, we wouldn't have been able to take advantage like we did today. It was the way Deserby has us playing football, it's the way he's got us set up, the way that we had Villa just running all over the place, the way we controlled the game with the ball. That's what just Villa couldn't handle today. They just couldn't handle it. And if they were pressing us high, then we were just popping it around them. If they were standing off us, then we were just controlling the possession, not giving it away, and just controlling the ball and frustrating them because we were just keeping the ball comfortably. And there was even a spell in the game. We had 82% possession for about 10 minutes, and it ended. And there was a move that ended in a chance that we created, but actually ended up in the goal because I think we got the corner from it. And that was all led from a passage of play where Tottenham was just popping the ball around, controlling the game. Even though Villa was standing off us, we were still able to pick them off and play through them. And that was such a breath of fresh air. And it was delight to watch. And it's just something we haven't seen from Tottenham for such a long time. And there were definitely clear signs of just Tottenham getting back to that team we all want them to be. It's a team that wants to play with flair, wants to play with bravery, wants to take the game, daring to do. That's what we want to see, and that's what we did today for much of that first half especially. We were taking that game to Villa, we were brave, and I think we got the rewards for it.
Absolutely. It gives you confidence as well, doesn't it, for the rest of the season? And while I'm really proud of the players today, I would also say that Roberto Deserby deserves so much credit, right? He come into a situation that nobody wanted to walk into, really, at Tottenham. As completely, and again, it's not, we're going to stay up necessarily because of this, but it is huge to be in 17th rather than in the relegation zone for confidence. You go home, the players go home knowing, we're 17th. It's in our control again. We can do this. We can win games. We can score games. And they just believe in themselves a bit more. But Deserby deserves so much credit. And, we were all saying, or some of us are saying anyway, myself included in that, as fans, if Deserby keeps us up, he deserves a statue. We said it in a funny way, but seriously, the work that he's done in such a short period of time, it's not just getting 2 wins. Because a lot of people said, it's all right, you can beat Wolves, but we've also beaten Aston Villa, who are a juggernaut. I backed them to win the Europa League. They're going to be playing Champions League football one way or another next year. This is a big result because Villa's B team is still much stronger, in my view, than ours. We had so many things thrown with us, right? If we stay up instead of West Ham, right, they've got 0 injuries. I said this during the watch along. This is really important. We've got 12. So that's just, no other team really can compete with that. So when I say I'm proud, of course, the context is important, but that's what I'm talking about. But today was really, really good. The result I said to you before, don't get how we played. But sitting here now, I'm really impressed with how we've played, as well as just getting that result. So it gives you confidence as well going forward, because I can sit here now with confidence and say, I think we can get a result against Leeds. I might not be able to say that before the game. I know that football, things change really quickly. This is a prime example of that. Really happy.
So many standout performers today as well.
Where'd you start?
I would say for me, I don't even know who I'd give man of that. Actually, I have to say, João Paulinho was absolutely exceptional, I thought, in the middle of the park. He's probably up there, definitely within a shout for man of the match, I would say. I thought the aggression he had in that middle of the park, he just wasn't allowing any Villa player to have any sort of control. He was just snapping the heels of every single Villa player every time they got even sniffed the ball. João Paulinho was there. But not only that, I have to say I was very impressed with his ability on the ball today. Much better than it's been in a lot of other games I've seen in this season. Spraying the ball with a lot of switches of play. There was a few moments as well he was able to, he hit the post with a long-range effort. There was little dinks over the top, very close to finding Tottenham teammates and creating those chances. I thought there was a few times he was even able to get the ball, charge into the middle of the park, pick up free kicks and pick up some fouls as well. But obviously defensively, just phenomenal the amount of work he got through João Paulinho. It was a real performance that reminds us that this is how good he can be when he's at his best. Yeah,
100%. I think you're spot on with Paulinho. A lot of people doubted him, and while of course every player is right to be subject to some form of criticism, I feel like Paulinho's got a bit too much. And yes, of course, he's not who you go to for necessarily offensive output, but I think he brings a lot more to the team than he gets credit for. And not necessarily in this game, but beyond this as well, since his return, I think Bentancur's been key. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's come back, and not only we look better, but we're getting results. I think, not to say it's just down to that, but I believe that's a huge factor. He just installed that calmness and that kind of, I'm back, I'm in control situation in midfield. He's been really good. And if we can get anywhere near Bentancur back to the levels that we saw under Antonio Conte, a risk-taking midfielder, that'd be fantastic. I liked Ange Postecoglou, but I'll just say this. I think he changed his game for the worse. And I'll repeat, I did like Ange, but he turned him into kind of a safe midfielder, and Thomas Frank, again, they just kind of set Bentancur back. Bentancur is at his best, he's risk-taking and the shackles, the handbrake, if you like, taken off. And I'm seeing Bentancur, I'm thinking, you'll get glimpses of you back to your best. And with Bentancur back to his best, the Tottenham midfield thrives. And in any team, if midfield thrives, the team thrives. So I want to give real credit to Bentancur. We can give credit to a lot of players. Gallagher, in this new 10 role, so much better. I was very critical of the signing at the time, but particularly how he started. But, to be fair play. He's been very good. We can look at the midfield is key. Because your midfield plays well, you protect the defence, you also supply the forward line. Score 2 goals against Aston Villa, having lost Xavi Simons and Solanke this week, is just huge. And just any obstacle that's thrown at us, again, these last couple of games, we've been able to answer them. Super impressed.
I've just put a poll in and we'll come back to it. People say man of the match. A lot of people at the moment give it to Conor Gallagher, who, as we mentioned before, brilliant goal. So great to see him getting on the score sheet, and so great to see him playing to the best of his ability. This was a real... It felt like the start of Tottenham's Gallagher Spurs career today, didn't it? The getting that goal and the endeavour he had throughout the whole game, never stopped running. I think we all know his work rate and the amount of effort he puts into games is not questioned. And I think over the last few games we've seen that, and I think it's really working well for him, as you say, in this role a bit further forward, because I think I think maybe positional wise, his positional discipline, that's something he kind of lacks a bit. But when he's in the number 10 and he's just given license to be
much better, because he can go and press as well.
Press wherever he wants, and he doesn't have to be worried too much about getting caught out of position.
Yeah.
And then when he can do what he did tonight in the final third, and provide that little bit of quality, that is the Conor Gallagher that we want to see at Tottenham.
And like I said to you on the watch along, and you mentioned it as well, to be fair, Gallagher in that 10 for Chelsea under Maurizio Pochettino, of course, our ex-manager, that's where he got the most out of him. He was captain there and really excelled. So for me, Gallagher in that 10, you're right. It's just about being able to have that freedom. And some footballers they excel with that room, and that's where they're at their best. Conor Gallagher is an example of that. 91st minute today, going and pressing Martinez. I mean, just to be in that, when you're winning as well, it's so easy to take your foot off the gas, eye off the ball, if you like, and not to concentrate. And that, for me, I looked at that and thought, you know what? That makes me proud of him, and also proud of what Deserby's achieved in a short period of time. So little things like that, going up and beyond, fighting to chase the ball down. You just don't really expect to see that, in stoppage time. So fair play to him for that. And again, we spent the big bucks on him, giving him the big wage. Ideally, well, I would say we've changed our wage structure a little bit. Very late to do that, but we have finally done it. Maybe not on the right player, but again, you see what you saw today in the last couple of games. You go, actually, you can justify a little bit more why you spent that money. Again, we should have done so much more in January, but Gallagher is really showing why we paid that money. Fair play to him.
And I think it's just that energy, that aggression, that strength. Definitely the midfield where we won that battle today, hands down, was a massive difference.
Villa have a strong midfield, even if they rotate, by the way. There's so much depth in that position. I know they're missing Kamara, they're missing Begin, Anana, but they've still got so many players. I mean, Tielemans is fantastic. Talk about versatility in midfield, look no further than Tielemans. Even Bogard, great midfield they even put out today with changes. So to win that midfield battle was always key. We've done that. I think we dominated and beat Villa in every single area of the park, and that's really impressive. They're a top team, even if they make changes. They're second team because they're playing more than one competition. They still are at this point. I mean, just that win and that performance is just huge. And they're a good side, even though they make changes. I know how the media are going to write it. The newspapers tomorrow, Villa slip up. It shouldn't be that. It should be Spurs capitalise on a poor Villa, yes, but Spurs, it should be all about our performance, because Villa could have done whatever, in my belief, put out whatever. Not saying we necessarily won, but again, I'm very confident we would have got a very good result nonetheless. We played well.
Yeah, I think we won the game more than Villa lost it today. 100%. Yes. I think we were just phenomenal. I also think first half we really took the game to them, and I feel like in the second half we really just controlled the tempo, controlled the game. It was a very game of minimal chances or openings in that second half, it's fair to say. And look, will Deserby be disappointed that how obviously we conceded and we didn't really kill off the game in that second half? We kind of sat back a bit. Well, we had a lot of possession. Did we still have more possession in the second half?
Yes, surely did.
Second half. Well, actually, Villa had more possession.
Did they?
There you go. 55%.
Must have been that latter. If you take away that last 5-10 minutes, though,
we definitely ran out of energy for sure at times, which is why we made some subs, brought on Sarr and whoever else. We ran out of a bit of energy, and we weren't able to keep up the same standard, I think, of pressing in that second half. But the first half, but I still think we were really comfortable in that second half, and we kind of kept Villa arm's length. We controlled the game how we wanted it. Obviously playing a bit more on the counter-attack, and we had a couple of moments like Spence was looking a bit dangerous. But I think first half was a bit like, rock and roll, go for them. And then second half, just calmed it down a bit and
That's
just
what you need, though.
controlled the game.
And we haven't been able to do that. My criticism has been that when we've played well, which has been very rare, let's be honest, with that this season. But when we just haven't been clever enough to see that game out. Even Brighton, we were good, but not clever enough to put your foot through the ball necessarily. Like it was Dancer in that case, who was excellent all season. He was excellent in that game. That's why it's so frustrating for him. But today we're just professional, got the job done. That's what's most important. Again, I repeat, if you play like that for the rest of the season, we're okay, no doubt about it. And we could even catch even Leeds, but definitely Nottingham Forest as well, and keep in front of West Ham. It's huge. I'm just sad we couldn't keep that clean sheet. I know tiny things like that, and don't get it wrong, we'll get hung up about it, but I'm still really frustrated because the backline weren't tested too much, but they deserved a clean sheet.
After today's result, outside the relegation zone by a point with West Ham's defeat yesterday, he also, as you mentioned before, dragging Nottingham Forest potentially back into the equation. With now there's only 2 points between us and Nottingham Forest. Obviously they got Chelsea tomorrow and with their game in hand. Then next week we've got Leeds at home, with West Ham having Arsenal and Forest having Newcastle. 2 tough games for them. Are you starting to believe now we're gonna beat this? We're gonna get out of this. Is that performance and what you saw today, has that fueled your belief? Or are you still thinking there's a long way to go here?
I really am, but do you know what? I'm a big hypocrite. I'll hold my hands up with that because I'm thinking at the start of the day, actually, I'm really worried because this is the point where a lot of teams down the bottom pick up points. I'd be very worried, but I've seen today and it's just given me so much more confidence. I can sit here now saying I think that we will stay up, but I still think there's a huge possibility it goes to the final day. It's gonna be very nervous. I'll be there, Everton as a season ticket holder in that game, and I think it will go down to that. I think it's gonna be very tight still because my belief is that still West Ham and Forest are still going to win before the end of the year, even though they've got tough games. I think Leeds are probably okay, but still.
Is there a pathway to not let it go to the final day? Because if you think about it, with this result, if we beat Leeds and West Ham lose, that's 4 points.
We're in a really good position.
So that means if we can make it to 4 points, that means if in the penultimate game we have Chelsea away, which obviously we know we're unlikely to win, but then West Ham go away Newcastle. If they then don't win that game, it could be over before the final day. I
don't want to be negative, but West Ham under Nuno, they're best in my view in getting results where they're not expected to. That's where Nuno, I think, has thrived over his career. If you say to Nuno, okay, you just West Ham, the games you don't think they get something, like I've said when they play Arsenal, wouldn't surprise me if that ends in a draw, for example, and people say, oh, yeah, West Ham won't get anything from that. So I think we have to be wary of that. Forest and Leeds, it's just how confident they're looking, right? I mean, we could be really confident after this, don't get me wrong. But West Ham, I mean, yesterday I didn't expect them to lose by 3. How does that affect their confidence? So right now, at this moment in time, I can say to you that I'm confident that we will stay up, but in football, things can change so quickly. We must build in this. We mustn't become complacent and go, we can sit back now and we're okay, we're outside the relegation zone. We need to keep this level of performance, the right attitude, the right mentality, and Deserby will ensure that, let's be clear. And going into Leeds, have to win that, and then we're in a really nice position with 2 games to go. Because they're tough games, though, all 3, in different ways, they're tough games.
Yeah, but it must be a relief for the players to now be sitting outside that relegation zone after,
back-to-back wins.
And it's massive psychologically, I think, as well. It's absolutely massive to, having been sat in that relegation zone. A lot of people said, if we get in that relegation, we ain't getting out of it. And now we have got out of it.
Yeah,
it's a massive psychological boost for this team. And look, we probably, in terms of between now and the end of the season, you'd say the fixtures probably lay in our favour more than Forest or West Ham. And, after being favourites from at one point to go down, of this result, surprising a few people, has probably made West Ham now favourites for the drop, you'd have to say.
Absolutely. Again, things do change so quickly. So, I watched West Ham a few times of late. I thought, really good. But Brentford, they'd be really worried by that. Having said that, they did hit the bar a couple of times, things like that. So sometimes the scoreline doesn't always reflect the game. But I believe right now we're in a much better position than West Ham. The games, you're right, not easy for us, but they're still easier than what West Ham have got. So, yeah, I'm feeling confident at this moment in time. And I just hope that we can stay outside the relegation zone, because I'm a big believer that if we do go down, I think the consequences are catastrophic. And I don't believe there's any positive. I'm just not. That's me. I believe some people go, cheaper this, you get that. I just don't think any of those things are the case. I think there's no benefit in going down. We've got to stay in the Premier League because the consequences, whatever you want to look at it, financial, whatever it may be, are devastating. So we're on the right track to stay in the league, and today was huge because I was hoping that we'd get a result. I thought we'd have to grind it out. We didn't. We dominated. We deserved to win by more than 1. So I'm so confident after this, and again, I repeat, proud of what the players have achieved, because I think even the most positive of Spurs fans, I like to think I'm one of them, didn't really see this coming, not the performance anyway. So super proud of the team.
Yeah, and if we keep playing like that, you know, if we keep showing up, showing that same
We'll be okay.
mentality, we'll be fine.
Absolutely.
We're going to take some stopping.
Must keep that level, though. It's key.
And that's the most crucial thing. Deserby, you have changed our world.
Thank you.
You have changed our lives. And he said after the Brighton game, we can win 5 out of 5. Well, it's 2 for 2 at the moment. 2 for 2. Let's keep going. Let's see what we can do between now and the end of the season. And all of a sudden, if we do stay up and we do stay up playing this kind of football, the excitement goes next season will grow.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we'll think of what's possible rather than being fearful of what could happen.
He's the man to back, I would say, Deserby. And I know we probably say this about a lot of managers. I'd probably said it, to be honest with you, myself. But we must get it right. And they showed, Lange and Vinay looked semi-happy for the first time in their life. But, I mean, I look at them and I go, I don't want to turn this into a negative, but they deserve no enjoyment out of this. They, for me, took a gamble with the future of this football club in January. And though they deserve to pay the consequences of it, these fans in particular do not deserve to go down, but they should hang their heads in shame. They shouldn't be enjoying this. They should be thinking, why did we take that risk in January? Why did we sit there and saw like a building falling and fail to intervene to stop it from falling? So I don't want them to get any enjoyment out of this. All I'm thinking about right now is these fans, this team, these players, this manager, that all of them in different ways make me proud. But in terms of Lange and Vinay, I mean, they absolutely, I mean, if we go down, that no accountability will be taken, but they need to get their finger out their backside in the summer. Ideally, they both go, particularly Johan Lange, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, our future hangs on these next few games, and look, Deserby finally getting a tune, getting the results out of these players, which should have been gotten a long time ago.
They're lucky they found Deserby, because Deserby's going to save Lange and Vinaya, and they don't deserve saving, but I'm glad that he's come in and done that.
This guy clearly is an absolute top-class manager. All the players seem to have really bought into him very, very quickly. They seem to have glowing reports, and some of the football we played, especially that first half, was absolutely phenomenal. It was to die for.
Best I've seen of any team this weekend. Can I just say that as well?
Honestly, it was some of the best football we've played in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And, some of the patterns of play, some of the interchanges, it was an absolute breath of fresh air under the light to watch. I think it's important to say Villa having rested players and having a much changed team and not being out first gear, we ain't going to be playing teams like that every week. So you obviously can only beat what's in front of you. You have to take advantage.
I don't think many teams can beat that, though, if you play like that. I will add that. I know that we're lucky with Villa today, but I still think maybe I'm looking at it from being, closed-minded. And I'm not saying, oh my God, we're going to triumph every single game. But if we play like that, though, I absolutely back us to stay in this league, because that was a really high level of performance. And I think Villa, even their strongest players, they would have struggled to beat us.
I agree with you. I think we would have had a chance when even Villa went full strength. But my only point is it a bit hard to judge?
Of course.
How impressive, how dominant we were when we were playing against a team who were really not in first gear. And I have to say, they were well below par. Like, they were much worse than they were
awful. Yeah, they were really worse. I've seen them this year.
It's important, to remember that, because this wasn't a vintage Villa side. This is a Villa side way off the pace, and I think they would have been beaten by a lot of teams today.
Even though Leeds are in a comfortable position, they're playing really well, playing for confidence. That'll be tough. Chelsea, not in a great period, but again, Rashinia's gone, so they're a bit of a kind of half semi new manager bounce, if you like. Everton are a good side. That's where the test's really going to be. So although I'm confident sitting here talking to you, if we just let that performance drop a little bit, don't think it will, but if it does, just to say, then of course it's a different situation you're talking about. I think West Ham will get more points, as will Forest, than people think. That is my only worry, but again, we keep doing our job. We've got to focus on ourselves. That's the thing, right? Of course, you're going to worry about other results, but let that happen after. Do what is in our control. You can only control our performances. You can only control our results. We've done our job in the last 2 games. That's what makes me happy. We shouldn't have to rely on other results. Like yesterday, we shouldn't, again, need to be in a situation where we're relying on Brentford, if that makes sense. So if we do our job, we're okay.
And the players, they got belief back again. You
Absolutely.
Can see it in them. You can see
belief, confidence, the right mentality.
Something that is just... we would have thought would never returning to this team, especially after losing to Sunderland, after conceding in the last minute against Brighton. You thought, okay, this team is done for. There's nothing left in this team. But Deserby has been able to find something. He's been able to, find a little bit extra from each.
We seemed unsavable, didn't we? Let's be honest about it. At one point, really unsavable. And again, I'm really positive, being only a young fan at 17. There's been times where I've probably been too positive. But even I thought, do you know what? Is it done, or is it gonna? It just felt inevitable, didn't it, at one point? So that's absolute credit to Zerbi. That's completely changed the circumstances and made us feel confident. Again, it's just the performance as well. Not safe yet, but we're in a much better position than Friday.
Yeah,
so much better.
The fact that we're in this position now, not outside the relegation zone with 3 games to go.
I didn't see that happening Friday. I mean, if you go back 2 or 3 days, I didn't see it.
Everyone thought we'd very possibly could start outside that relegation zone.
You felt this weekend was key, but I didn't think it'd be quite as positive as it was for us.
Well, advantage Tottenham in the relegation battle. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought of today's massive, massive win at Villa Park to take Tottenham outside the relegation zone. But that is it for your instant match reaction.